All right. All right. You are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium win today. A 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. They just straight up suck. Started the season 10-1. Got blown out, smoked in the first round of the playoffs, 32-9. Couldn't even score 10 points. Their draft picks absolutely blow. The Philadelphia Eagles suck. They really do. They absolutely blow. Oh my God, they freaking blow. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Find a way. Throw in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free and fire away. But plus also, seriously, instead of me just rambling on a half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever I might want to be, it's just nice talking to another Giant fan. So please feel free, once again, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the very top description box, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them, so if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys, but if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live, or if I put a video out, they'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. And then also, finally, if in the description box below, a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. And then the one underneath it, to me, it's a Twitter link, right? It's always been Twitter, always will be Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants you to call it, that's on him. I'm not calling it that. I'm calling it Twitter. I'm one of them old-time farts, right? One of them old-time, get up and on type of guys, right? I can't stand change, right? Like things just kind of the way they are, right? So it's a Twitter link. You follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my account every day, right? And then the link just on top of it takes you to my Facebook page. My Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but the members post stuff in this group as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's we have over 8,200 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. So basically, it's called the New York Giants Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, that stuff said and done with. Well, all right, man. The draft has cometh and the draft has goneth. All in all, not too bad. Now, one of the other things we got to also consider here, too, right? Because you think, right? You had 6 picks. Basically pretty much, just the way I feel anyway. After this, the draft come and go, we only had the 6 picks, right? Is that, you like to, I don't know, have more of a bigger impact, you know what I mean? Obviously, to some people's eyes, we got the best wide receiver in the class. I mean, this guy's not, he's not, it's not like, well, under the right system and, if they can get him the ball and this, and And he's got the right quarterback, and if they can get protection, and if he comes back from that hamstring, this guy could, possibly be pretty good. No, there's none of that. There's none of that. Malik Neighbors. Is the bomb. Okay. He's a dog. Okay. They had, he has that kind of like maybe that diva mentality, whatever it was, that dog mentality, but, Dable and Shane, they took him out to dinner. They had him, they talked to him, this, that, and the other thing and all. And, if they think there's going to be some type of problem with him, I'm sure they wouldn't have drafted him, because the Giants had a choice, the Dunzier or Neighbors. Harrison Jr. was gone, and there was always that possibility, right, where Harbaugh was going to take an offensive lineman, and he took Alt, right, because he likes to run the football, but also help keep your quarterback upright, right, protect the quarterback. And so there's always that possibility he was going to wind up taking an offensive lineman. He did. I thought it was a good chance he might take a wide receiver, because he had to let his two best ones go, right? Now, you figure if there's a straight up dog out there that Herbert could be throwing the football to, wouldn't you want that? But you want an offensive lineman, and you can't, that's Harbaugh, right? So, the Giants had, obviously their pick, and I thought they'd take a Dunzier because, more of like an outside kind of guy. Our Neighbors goes in the slot, and he can go outside as well too. So he can do both. But I just thought we got like Hyatt and Slayton or whatever, right? And even Hodgins, right? We got Wan'Dale Robinson in the slot, and then we got maybe Dunzier. I thought maybe, but this way, if we do go 4 wide, which quite possibly might happen, now you can have whatever Slayton. Then you have Neighbors in the slot, right? You have Wan'Dale in the slot here, and you can have Hyatt out wide, right? So now so you can move him all over the place, right? But before I get off cue here, usually, after the draft's over with you, with your picks, you like to have at least, just do it for just the way I'm feeling. Now I'm going to come back around. It's all good. It's all good. Feeling a little bit, banging your chest a little bit more than what you got here, But we're going to go over this. Basically out of these 6 picks, it's kind of like, how I felt this week. We filled 2 holes. And then, we got some depth. But let's also not forget, right? We had 2 second-round picks. Okay. So basically, we really did kind of fill 3 holes, right? And we have 2 edge rushers now because of Brian Burns, right? We don't need any wide receivers. We got our dog. We got bookend edge rushers, right? And we said bye-bye to Xavier. And, I was thankful we had Xavier. I wish we could have kept him, all that stuff. But, it didn't really seem like he had any inkling on possibly staying here. It was like basically like about 3 seconds after the season was over with, show me the money, baby. It's not like, I'll tell you what, I hope I'm a Giant for life for the, none of that. Just show me the money. So Green Bay showed you the money. So don't let the door hit you in the ash, right? So we got ourselves a safety, right? So the best safety in the class. So to me, you can also look at it. As I said, you got the 2 picks, and then we got some depth, for depth, So it's kind of like, but once again, you also look at it. We got possibly the best wide receiver, right? In the class, okay. We got the best safety in the class, and I'll you gotta go, buddy. All right. He's all over the place here. He's at my feet. He's on my side. But, we got the best, and then we also got the best edge rusher to me in the class. So we got 3 dogs, right? We got three. We filled 3 holes. Okay. We had an edge rusher, right? after the season was over. We got Azeez, but it's going to be his last season coming up. He might be bye-bye after the season's over. Next season, after this season, next year in the off season, we're really going to need another edge rusher. I don't mean taking somebody in the 6th round as some debt. No, I don't mean that. No. We want that. We want that NASCAR package. We want so many edge. We want them coming out of the seats. We want them coming out of everywhere, right? So we need. This season's over with, right? We're going to need another edge rusher, definitely. Right? So we want. Right? I said, oh, no, I don't mean next. I said once again, I don't mean next season in the 5th round. We got to draft an edge rusher from Utah State. He might be good, some good depth. No. I want somebody that literally, somebody really good, right? But anyway, so we filled 3 holes. Okay. And I said, also, you look at it like, we got, with Theo Johnson, I'll go over each picks and everything like that. But with Theo, right? We got Bellinger, his 3rd year. We got Johnson, right? So we got 2 young tight ends. Well, hopefully Waller comes back because, at least this season. Because, then again, who knows? We got him for 3 years. Who knows, right? Maybe the thing that's screwing with his mind and all that is the marriage or the lack thereof. Maybe the divorce popped up. So maybe his head will start clearing and maybe he can start focusing on football. Realizing now that, he doesn't have his superstar NBA wife, of course he's been making money and stuff like that. But, once his football career is over with, his income might go down a little bit, Man, it'd be great if he's here for a couple of years, but so we don't need tight ends. But what we do need is this season or next season, probably going to be is a receiving tight end. Okay, we got plenty of running backs. We don't need no more running backs. We're good there. As long as we got Singletary's the lead man. That's fantastic. We'll go over the running backs as well too. The offensive line. What I want to see with the offensive line is what does it look like after this season's over with? What does Carmen? What can he concoct up? Where who's he got going where? Can he get a Zudu in there to be a starter? He's a 3rd round pick, right? What's the starting lineup going to be, right? What can he do with Evan Neal? Can Evan Neal stay healthy, right? Where's Illuminor going to go? Is Illuminor going to be the go? We're going to put him in his guard. We're going to slide Neal in a guard. We're going to put Illuminor out wide. So let's see because we don't know what we have. And I'm really happy that in a way that they didn't take an offensive lineman because we don't know what we have. We have a ton of offensive linemen. We don't know what Priscilla can do with them. And you get some good offensive line coaching, you'd be amazed at, how it can elevate a player. Okay. So I'm glad that we didn't take one. A little bummed out. We didn't. Now, obviously, there's 2 things I'm a little bummed out about. One, we didn't get a defensive lineman, but there'll be a reason for that, per se, right? And I'm a little bummed out that we didn't draft a cornerback earlier, but once again, there's a reason for that. We'll go over that as well, too. So we did get a cornerback, okay? But it just seems like, hey, can Jerome Anderson turn him into a decent starting cornerback? Hey, I'm all for it, baby. Cool. Let's do it. Right? I don't know. I just never get overly excited about 3rd round cornerbacks. As I said, I hope might be a contributor on special teams. I'm sure he's going to certainly get a chance to get in there and play and all that. Once again, can he be a starter? I hope so, but I'm not overly thrilled about it. But so I said, so there's a couple of things I am a little bummed out about as far as with the draft. Once again, then we didn't get a quarterback. Didn't draft anybody. The Rattler or nothing. Of course, 312 quarterbacks went to first 313 picks. Everybody started thinking, I mean, Bo Nix, supposed to be in the second round, gets drafted, what was it, 12th? Yeah. Penix, with all his injuries, might go late in the first, whatever, something. I mean, top 10 pick, right? So, once again, obviously the run on quarterbacks, 6 in the top 12. I mean, how crazy was that? That kind of, took a little bit about the possibility of the Giants maybe drafting somebody in the second round and all and everything. But so we got to, as I said, but let's also not forget, we did get Burns, right? So we still need, I still think we need like a defensive line, interior defensive line to put next to Sexy Dexy. We need a cornerback. But once again, let's see what we can do. I got a picture. We got something. I'm not getting thrilled over the moon over any of these. But once again, the undrafted free agents, right? And I don't know. According to a source, anyway, the Giants signed 5 undrafted free agents already. John Giles, a wide receiver. Asante, a wide receiver from Wyoming who was born in New Jersey. John Giles is from West Florida. He's a wide receiver. And then we took Kubis, an offensive lineman from North Dakota State. Marcellus Johnson, he's a tall dude, offensive tackle, I believe it is, from Missouri. And then a defensive back, Alex Johnson from UCLA. But once again, the undrafted free agents, I'm sure we're going to be bringing more into. So, but once again, undrafted free agents, I'm never totally 100% over the moon. Usually if they go undrafted, doesn't mean that, there's not a Victor Cruz out there or somebody like that, right? But for the most part, there's a reason why they're not drafted. So, but we're going to be bringing even more guys in. But, let's see. So, like I said, somewhere along the line, we're going to need a pass receiving tight end whenever Waller comes or doesn't come back or whatever, right? I guess we're rolling the dice with Locke, with Drew and Daniel, right? So we'll have to wait and see how that works out. So we'll have to wait and see after the season's over with how the offensive line looks, right? We don't need wide receivers. We don't need any tight end. We need one tight end. We don't need any running backs, right? As I said, we need a defensive lineman. Now, I'm kind of happy they didn't take a developmental defensive lineman like in the 5th or 6th round because we got a lot of those guys. We don't need another Jordan Riley. We don't need another DJ Davidson. Right? So let's see what we do in free agency next season and next year's draft. Next year's draft, we should hopefully fill a couple more holes. Next year's free agency, right? Hopefully we can fill another couple holes, right? And then after next year's free agency and next year's draft, let's see where we're at. We should be, hold on. Here we go. There. Hold on. Excuse me. Felt like I had to sneeze for like half an hour there. But, then we should be, now whether we need some good quality depth after, that's another story. But I think after next year's free agency and after next year's draft, hopefully if we can keep some of these guys together, right? I mean, let's see here. Excuse me. I mean, I think on defense, we should be fine. I don't think anybody's going anywhere in defense next year after this season. And the offensive line or the offense, we should be okay. Except for maybe, I'm not sure if we signed Singletary to 1 year, I think it is. So, maybe we can re-sign him or bring somebody back. But we got a bunch of running backs. So, I mean, the group of guys we got. I said we might let Daniel Jones go. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But saying the group of guys that we got, right, for this team. I'm not saying we're a top 10 unit or not like that, but, nice. So let's see what we can do next year, too. And then let's fill in a few more pieces, and we should be pretty close to being, complete. All right. But so we just start at the top here, right? We start off with the neighbors, all right? For whatever the reason was, and I said even in their press conference after the draft, after the first round, right? You had Shane and Dave were talking to everybody like, you're never going to get an answer. Never. We just thought that he was the best for our situation, for our you're never going to, well, we felt that Dunzier doesn't do this properly, or we asked Dunzier in the film room, can you break some of this down? And he wasn't able to do that. Where Malik Neighbors was able to enunciate things better in the film, and we thought, his catch this, that, it was better. You're never going to get that. It's just a very plain vanilla answer or whatever like that. So, but whether we drafted Neighbors or Dunzier, we got ourselves a dog, right? Now, I said the nice thing about, looking at like what, as far as like, especially with the tight ends, okay, and the wide receivers, what has Shane done in his third draft, right? He drafted Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, I'm like, in the second round, I'm like, once again, I'm an idiot. I don't know. I'm just going along with this draft gurus and stuff and what they say. And I'm like, who the is Wan'Dale Robinson? And why are we drafting him in the second round? Well, you see, right? You see what he can do, right? And then last season we brought Hyatt, right? Now, if he can work on his craft, maybe, work on maybe his routes and all that, he's got the speed that kills, right? So now you got Wan'Dale. Team's got to worry about Wan'Dale underneath, right? You got Hyatt just, right? So you got him scaring the crap out of people. And not only that, I mean, if you got Slayton out there too on the other side, right? You got two guys with rockets up their butts flying down the field, right? And then you got Neighbors. Holy cow, right? So now we finally got, our dog. Somebody who can make a difference. I mean, gotta love it. Gotta love it. So now, whether Slayton's here, whether he plays, holds out, whatever, he gets traded, who knows? But regardless, we're good at wide receiver. I said maybe next season. I'm saying like Slayton leaves, and if you want to draft a wide receiver in the 4th or 5th round or something like that, I'm all for that. Absolutely get some more depth. But what I said in the 3 seasons, right? That Shane has been here. Yeah, because it's not like you take a crappy roster and you just wave your wand at it and it's fixed in 1 year, right? It's not like what the Eagles would do, right? They would just bring in every free agent, overpay them, right? And put like 352 void years at the end of each contract. So basically their contract, is getting spread out all over we realized the Eagles spent, I think, they extended A.J. Brown's contract. And with these, the rookies that they're bringing in, I think they spent almost $500 million this offseason. I mean, that's one of the things Mara talks about. I don't want to be the biggest. I don't want to be the winners in, what does he say, March, I think it is, or something like that. I mean, Howie Rowe may just going crazy, spending all kinds of money and stuff. But, so we don't need any more wide receivers. I said, let's say if we look here, I mean, Jalen Hyatt, Isaiah Hodgins, Miles Boykin. I mean, some of these guys ain't going to make the team. We're bringing in undrafted free agents as well. So what do we got here? According to the roster, this right here, I'm looking at 11 guys. I'm sure we're going to be bringing in probably 2 or 3 or 4 more because we could have 13, 14 or so wide receivers, going into training camp easily, right? But we got Chase Cota, Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Dennis Houston, Bryce Ford Wheaton, don't forget about him, Gunnar Olszewski, Isaiah McKenzie, but McKenzie's probably going to be our kick returner, and Gunnar Olszewski will be our punt returner. And we got Wan'Dale Robinson. So we got a ton of wide receivers. We don't need any more wide receivers. So the nice thing with the tight ends, okay, is now we have 2, is in the 3 seasons. Okay, now, once again, you only have so many picks. You can only do so much. He came into a bad money situation. It wasn't like Shane walked in day one hey, Shane, we don't got a good team, but we do have $500 trillion for you to spend in free agent. Really? Oh, okay, cool. No, I mean, he couldn't even, he had to shed people just so we can make it through the season. We couldn't even keep Bradberry because we couldn't afford him because the salary cap was so screwed up, thanks to Gettleman, right? So, I mean, it's going to take time for Shane, right, to, weed his way through, get rid of some of the guys and maybe eventually get to a good situation where we actually have some money to spend in some free agency. Like I said, but, look at the 3 years here, he's brought in Johnson and Bellinger. Now, I mean, that's that duo of tight ends is never that we drafted is not going to keep any defensive coordinator up at night. But if say next year's draft, I'm just saying, like in the second round or whatever, if there's a real good receiving tight end, bring him in, right? We brought in. I mean, my goodness, how many running backs do we? I mean, holy cow! Well, I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but I mean, we drafted a running back. Right. But I mean, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have 7 running backs. And I'm sure there's a good chance that we might, on an undrafted free agent, we might bring another one in. So out of these 7, some of them ain't going to make the roster or the practice squad. Right. And I said, Malik Neighbors. I mean, what can, first round pick. What can I mean, according to PFF, he graded out at a 92.9. I mean, just straight up dog. Unbelievable. 17.6 yards of reception. Looks like he had here. It looks like he had 14 receiving touchdowns. 1,568 yards receiving. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He had 9 games where he had over 100 yards receiving. One game he had 89 yards. Another game he had 87 yards. I mean, last game of the season against Wisconsin in the bowl game, he only caught 3 passes. But I mean, other than that, it was just a straight up dog. Absolutely fantastic first round pick. Gotta love it. First fantastic. All right, so then you got in the second round, Tyler Nubin, who winds up being pretty much on many people's boards the best overall safety. Right, so we lost Xavier McKinney. And now we want to bring in Nubin, right? So just another good, once again, we lost Xavier, but we filled him with another second round safety, right? Right. So I mean, the Giants have done some pretty good safety. We picked up some pretty good safeties in the second round over the past about 9-10 years. Right, going back to 2015, I guess. Right, so past like 10 drafts, we've done pretty well in the second round as far as picking up safety. So let's hopefully this guy, hopefully this guy will actually sign, because the other safeties after their 4 years were up, we just let them go. So hopefully maybe this guy will stick around a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see. But we had a hole at safety, so now we're good at safeties, right? I mean, between Belton, Javarius Owens, Pinnock, all right, and we got a couple other guys, but there as well with Nubin, right? So we got 4. Let's see what else we got there, right? I think, of course, they got Jalen Mills there, right? So, and of course, the same thing. We might bring in an undrafted free agent as well to compete, but we got some depth there. Absolutely, we got some depth, right? So looks like Nubin could either, I don't know if he'll be the strong safety or the free safety. We'll have to wait and see. But between maybe Nubin and Pinnock, we could be good, right? We could be good. And I said, Dane Belton, don't forget about him. Every time it seems like a guy's on the field, he's either picking up a fumble or picking off a pass. So don't forget about him. So we're not doing too bad. Yeah, I said that maybe Javarius Owens, if he can step it up a little bit, he'd be some good depth for us. So safeties were pretty good. So, I mean, in the second round, we filled a nice hole at safety. The one thing that I was a little bummed out about was that go back to. I was a little bummed out we didn't grab a cornerback or a defensive tackle. But the problem is that, we had the 2 second-round picks, of course. Burns, as I said, once again, let's not forget, our second-round pick, right? We got Burns. Then we got the dynamic duo, edge rushers, which is really very, very important in today's modern NFL. The more edge rushers you can have, the better. I mean, a lot of good teams, a lot of good teams have more than 2. Sometimes they got 3 or whatever, but I mean, a lot of them have at least 2, right? So it's almost like pick your poison. Now the Giants have it, and then hopefully if Azeez, because he was not Azeez like last season. Now we're not sure if the injuries are catching up with him or not, but maybe if he's on the sideline more and he's not being used as much, maybe he can stay healthy, and maybe when he does come in, he'll be very productive. If he comes in, I don't know, I'm just saying 30 snaps a game, 25 or so, because he might send him into, I'm just saying, relieve Kayvon for a couple snaps, relieve Burns for a couple, something like that, or whatever, so maybe when he does get on the field, he'll be productive. All right, so I'm saying, so for this season, we should be okay with edge rushers, but I'm saying, but if we don't re-sign Azeez next season, we really could use another, obviously edge rusher, but once again, that's next season. But I said, but let's not forget, we had another second-round pick, and we got an edge rusher, which is a huge position. It wasn't like we got a guard or a punter. No, I mean, an edge rusher, huge position, right? So with our first 3 picks, kind of, if you want to look at it, right, we a wide receiver, not a wide receiver, we got a dog. First dog since OBJ, and they're both from LSU. And from every indication, this guy could be just almost as good, if not maybe as good as OBJ. Especially if he's not as much of a head case as OBJ, right? I said we've got a dog, a wide receiver. Now we got 2 edge rushers thanks to the Burns trade, and we let Xavier McKinney walk. He's making $17 million a year, and we replaced him at safety with somebody who's making probably $15 million a year less, right? And Xavier was young, but there's Nubin. How old is Nubin here? Nubin is 22. He'll be 23. So I'm not sure if Xavier will be 25 this season or what, but I think he's 24 right now. So maybe he'll turn 25. I'm not exactly sure, but regardless, Nubin's still younger than him. And Nubin graded out at 89.2 this season. I mean, phenomenal, right? Really, really. I mean, even 2019, his first season, well, he only played in so many snaps, but his past 3 seasons with the Minnesota, graded a 72.6, a 76.4, and his last season, 89.2. Absolutely phenomenal. So we got the best safety in the whole class. So it's absolutely fantastic. But the one problem is that I was saying is that I was a little disappointed we didn't grab a cornerback in the second round. With that pick 47 or a defensive lineman. So those are 2 areas still for me of concern. So I guess we got Nacho. Okay, Nacho's okay. He's decent against the run. You're not going to get nothing as far as the pass. Then we got Ryder Anderson, DJ Davidson, Jordan Riley. We brought Phillips in too. It's not. It'd be nice if we could have gotten ourselves another real-time stud at defensive tackle. So let's see who we got here. Sexy Dexy, Jordan Phillips, all right. Nacho, DJ Davidson, Jordan Riley, Ryder Anderson, and Timmy Horn. All right, so we got a lot of right. It would have been nice if we could have gotten somebody to team up with Sexy Dexy. That would, get that front wall. But maybe next season in the first round. But the thing was in the draft, where we at? Nope. I got, once again, I got 9,000. Oh, here we go. 9,000 tabs open. I'm trying to find. The problem was when the second round opened up is that all of a sudden, first pick of the second round was a wide receiver, then a wide receiver. Then after that was a defensive tackle, then a wide receiver, then a defensive tackle, then a defensive tackle. So the thing was before the Giants, well, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So out of the first 7 picks of the second round, 4 of them were defensive tackles. So the good defensive tackle going, good defensive tackle going, good defensive tackle. So instead of getting the 312th best defensive tackle in the second round, let's go for the jugular. Let's get the best safety. That's what they did. Okay. Now the thing was the kind of the shame of it, if you will. The Rams traded up pick 39. They swapped with Carolina, who had our pick for Brian Burns, and they went in and they took Fisk from Florida State, defensive tackle. Compare that with Sexy Dexy. But once again, the reason why we don't have pick 39 anymore, right, was because we got Burns. I would rather have an edge rusher, a good young stud of an edge rusher, than a defensive tackle, because we know what Burns can do in the NFL. We've seen what he can do. We know what he can do. Of course, it cost us a lot of money. It didn't cost me any money, but it cost the Giants a lot of money. But we know what Brian Burns can do. But that was the one thing is that right off the bat, right? Defensive tackle. All these defensive tackles started going. So I said, so once again, so instead of taking maybe a defensive tackle who the Giants had a 3rd round grade on, right? Let's pass on that. And then the other thing was, let's get ourselves a cornerback in the second round. But just what happened with the defensive tackles, the run on defensive tackles was the same thing that happened with the run on the cornerbacks, right? So then all of a sudden we had, let's see, so then the Giants are picking 47. So then all of a sudden at pick 40, you had cornerback. Cornerback. So 4 corners. It's like what happened last year when the Giants needed a wide receiver, okay, in the first round, and all of a sudden wide receiver. 4 wide receivers right in front of the Giants get taken. So instead of taking the 312th best wide receiver, well, let's jump up one spot and take Banks. What they did. So instead of taking a cornerback in the second round that the Giants maybe had a 3rd or 4th round grade on, let's pass on the defensive tackle. Let's pass on the cornerback, and we'll take the best safety. And that's what the Giants did. Giants got themselves the best safety in this draft. So once again, the Giants got to get the best safety, the best edge rusher. I'll take Burns over anybody in this draft. Okay. And we might have quite possibly, however you want to look at it, might have gotten the best wide receiver in this class. So I'm pretty happy with that. But the reason why we get a defensive tackle or a cornerback in the second round, because usually you take somebody in the second round, that's kind of like a guy you had visions. This guy's a starter. You don't draft somebody in the second round. There'll be some good depth. No, you draft somebody in the second round. A guy is a starter, okay? And so what wound up happening was, get somebody next to Sexy Dexy, but as soon as the round started, defensive tackle, gone. So it's like, I guess we won't be taking a defensive tackle in the second round. Well, let's focus on cornerback because we need another corner. No, just once it got to the 40s, cornerback. It's like, well, I guess we won't be drafting a cornerback in the second round. So, but right, so we once again we got the best safety. But if you look at the cornerback that we did take in the 3rd round, okay, I'm not thrilled to death. He certainly should be some good depth, maybe quite possibly use on special teams. Can Jerome Henderson? Hey, get him in there and see what we got. Sure. Hey, can he be a starter? I'm certainly not going to say he can't be, but and once again, I don't mean that just because you're a cornerback and you're taken in the 3rd round or the 4th round doesn't mean you can't be a starter. There's been plenty of examples of guys who've been drafted in the 3rd or 4th round or whatever and wind up being really good starters at cornerback. So maybe this guy, he can be, but I don't know. Let's see. This past season with Kentucky, he graded out of 71.7. Nothing super horrible. He missed 15 tackles. That scares me. All right. Let's see, defense. Yeah, that does scare me a bit here. Let's see now. See, he's been on. All right, okay. Let's see what we got. He was on 95 special teams snaps this past season. Graded out of 50. Nothing too super spectacular there. Let's see. He had some, he was used a lot at special teams in Kentucky. A lot on special teams. Okay. Now I'm trying to, let's see, his defense, snaps by position. Yeah, okay. Now, once again, I don't know what the heck. Defense here. Let's go. Does he have anything in defense 2022? Okay, there we go. So, I mean, in 2022 at Kentucky, graded out as 69.2. Nothing super horrible. All right, but once again, nothing that really, gets me, right? He does have a high missed tackle rate. He let's see. He had almost a 15% missed tackle rate in 2022. 2021, yeah, he hardly played at all. He only played in 22 snaps. So basically, his past couple of seasons, 2022 and 2023, he played most of his snaps. His past season, he played 710 snaps, according to PFF, for Kentucky. Said he had 15 missed tackles. His missed tackle rate was 23.1%. I mean, that's horrible. That's absolute. He missed almost a quarter of his tackles. That's really bad. And he's doing that in college. The guys and the pros are only better, right? So we'll have to keep an eye on that. As I said, he graded a 71.7. His run defense was a 61.4. His tackling was a 50.7. His coverage was a 72.9. Let's see here. What do we got? He was targeted this past season. He was targeted 57 times. It's not, He gave up 38 receptions, 66%. So basically 2 out of every 3 passes thrown his way he gave up receptions for. 434 yards. He gave up 11.4 yards of reception. He gave up 3 touchdowns. But, the thing that one of the other things that doesn't really excite me, he has no interceptions. I mean, once again, far from me to say this guy can't play. Right? They're going to give him all. He's a 3rd round pick. They're going to give him every opportunity. Right? Speaking of 3rd round picks, Aaron Robinson. I don't even know if we're ever going to see that guy ever again because he had a horrible knee injury. And once again, even if he does come back, but I don't even know he'll ever be the same as he was before. But when he was on the field, Aaron Robinson, our 3rd round pick from a few years ago, was pretty good. The thing was the guy can never stay healthy. As soon as we drafted him, right after we drafted him, I think right after he had to have muscle core surgery. The guy was something was always wrong with the guy. But when you can get him on the field, he was pretty good. Once again, he was a 3rd round pick. This guy's a 3rd round pick. So once again, don't say the guy can't play. But if we're going to draft, I don't know. I always just feel better if we're drafting a cornerback in the 1st or 2nd round to put out there as a starter. But once again, we'll have to wait and see. Right. But I'm not over the moon over Andrew Phillips. Then, of course, we got Theo Johnson. Now he's 6'6", 264 pounds. Now his past season at Penn State, right? He graded a 62.5. His receiving grade was a 67.2. That's his receiving grade. What is his offense here? 62.5. His passing grade is a 67.2. His pass blocking is a 55.7. His run blocking is a 55.9. But what I do like, he had, did I put that now? Let's see, what do we got? Hold on. Pass, receiver. There we go. but he had 7 touchdowns, right? So he caught 34 passes out of 45 targets. Basically, he caught 3 out of every 4 balls thrown his way for 341 yards, 340, so 10 yards of reception, but he had 7 touchdown receptions. So his 6'6" frame, 264 pounds. Okay, he could be maybe a good target in the red zone. But once again, what is he? He's 23 years old. He just turned 23 in February. So, once again, a tight ends in the 4th round can't play? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He was not the highest. I think PFF had him like the 5th or 6th rated tight end, maybe even the 7th. So once again, we got him in the 4th round, but he's another young player. Okay, moving forward. Shane at his press conference afterwards, it said when going into, I think he said the 4th round, Theo was his highest rated. I'm not sure if he was the highest rated player or if he was the highest rated tight end going into the 4th round that they had still left on their board. But they thought highly of him. So once again, it's his 3rd draft, Shane, right? We got Bellinger, we got Theo, right? So maybe we can carry those guys going forward, right? Whether Waller is here or not, somewhere along the line, we could use a receiving tight end, right? Because Theo Johnson, he can catch a pass. Don't get me wrong, but he's not somebody who's going to, be a huge mismatch, even though he is 6'6". Okay, but once you start getting to the 4th round, if you hit on somebody like a Micah McFadden or something like that, 2 thumbs up, absolutely fantastic. But if anything else, you want the guy to be, at least some good depth, and I think that's what we got there, without question. So then Alijah II, where are we at here? Theo. Now Tyrone Tracy. All right, now this guy here. Let's see. You look at his numbers here. This past season, it was his big one. My goodness, 1, 2. He's played 6 seasons. How old is the guy? Like 42 years old? He's one of those 6 season guys. He's 24. He'll be 25 years old in November. So he's going to be old. And he's going to be older than some of the guys on the roster, right? But, he's one of those. He played 6 seasons. It's but this past season, right, he had 113 carries for 716 yards, 6.3 yards a carry. Very shifty, right? 8 rushing touchdowns. He catches some passes too. I believe one time I thought they said, right, maybe when he was at Iowa, he was a receiver. I think he was a converted receiver. He's not very big, but he's what, 5'9"? Is that what 5'9"? I don't know. I'm thinking of somebody. Oh, I'm thinking of somebody else. 6'1", 210. Nice size. Not. He's not a Brandon Jacobs size, 230, 240, but nice size. All right. But the one thing I do like with Tracy here, okay, is that he's played. Just saying his running, right? It's 6 seasons at college. Oh my God, 6 seasons. He's run the ball 146 times. That's nothing. The guy's got a lot of tread left on the tires. Okay. Also, another one of the things too is that what you'll kind of think about, especially with Darius Marisal. Marisal, I think that's how you pronounce it. The guy from UCLA. Guy, I think had like over 60 starts. I think he had 440 tackles in his career. I don't think he missed a game. We'll go over this, but a lot of these guys, that he's taken are been relatively healthy, right? Haven't had much of an injury history at all. Shane might be learning his lesson, because let's not forget, I said, Darren Waller cost us a 3rd round pick, and if Darren Waller does not decide to play, we'll save some money. If he does retire, okay, that's cool. But basically, we spent a 3rd round pick for somebody to play 12 games for us. Yeah, so let's hope that Shane's learning his lesson about drafting injured players or trading for injured players. Right, come back and bite you. as juicy and all of that as that Darren Waller, only a 3rd-round pick for Darren Waller? Yeah. You serious, dude? Yeah. Oh, we'll do that. Maybe he'll think twice about that next time. It's a 3rd-round pick. Anyway, but Tracy, very, 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 very shifty. Now, as I said, we look, we got a lot of running backs once again. We got Singletary, we got Eric Gray, we got Tracy. Let's not forget about Dante Miller. I think he's the guy that ran like a 4.27, 4.28. Holy cow, right? I guess, unfortunately, because don't get me wrong, Brightwell's never been like my all-time favorite running back, but every time he's in there, he always seems to do well. And once again, he doesn't get 30 carries a game, but when he goes in there, he gives you a nice little shot in the arm. But it seems like because they didn't draft him, right? It seems like they might be trying to maybe fade him out. But I said we're good with running backs. Really good with running backs right now. With Gray and Tracy, Brightwell, we got your Sean Corbin, Deion Jackson, Dante Miller. I said I'm anxious to see Dante Miller. Dante Miller, he's the one I think at 5'9", right? 5'9", 200 pounds. Now for 200 pounds, 5'9", that's a pretty thick guy, right? But he's only 5'9", but super fast. But we got a ton of running backs. And I said if we can always have like a Singletary or somebody like that, right? Somebody of that caliber, and then we got these other guys behind them. I'm fine with that. We don't need wide receivers. We don't need any running backs. I said, especially if Waller comes back, we don't need a tight end. So I'm very, very happy with Tracy. Now the thing with Tracy, let's see here. Just trying to see if he what do we got on special teams here? What did Tracy do in special teams? This past season with Purdue, he was on 157 special team snaps. The year before in 2022, 169 special team snaps. So big on special teams. Okay, so look for him to get obviously maybe he maybe get a few snaps here or there. That's going to be interesting to see, right? Because you got Singletary's the man. What's the pecking order after that? You got Gray, right? You got Tracy, and you got Brightwell. What's the pecking order? I have to wait and see because we're not carrying 4 running backs. We're carrying maybe 3. One goes on the practice squad. I don't know. Does Corbin go on the practice squad as well too? So it's almost going to wind up being the same thing like with the wide receivers and the tight ends. Who's going to go on the practice squad? Who's not going to make the team? Who's going on the practice squad? And who's going to be a free agent? So I'll have to wait and see. But I like the running backs we have as well too. You got Singletary, you got the other one. The one thing we don't have is like a big banger. That's what I was kind of hoping if we did draft somebody, instead of drafting somebody who's, Tracy, I think is very good with his hands and he's very shifty. He's maybe not somebody who's going to get in the open field and he's gone or nothing like that, but he's very shifty, can make a lot of guys miss. Right? Let me see. Does it have his missed tackle rate here? Nope. That's all I said. Let's see if we can get special teams here. Offense, blocking, run blocking, rushing. Let's see, rushing. Does it show missed tackles here? MTF. What the hell? So they got so many. It's tough to say. Let's go to keys here. Just trying to see if they sees anything at all about like missed tackles, elusive rating. Oh, ELU. What else is ELU at here? I gotta find it. They got like 3,000 different. Oh, ELU, 163.5. I guess that's pretty good. I don't know. A couple of his ELUs was 314. So he's a very elusive guy. Okay. Very, very elusive. So, and I said, but we don't have the 6'3" guy or whatever, something like that, 235, 240. It's kind of like if we need that yard, And I know it's easier said than done. Just send so and so in there and just get the yard. It doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't matter how big you are. If everybody on the defense knows you're getting the ball, it's not that easy to get a yard. Okay, but we don't have anybody a real big bruiser or anything like that. I was kind of hoping maybe instead of getting one of these shorter guy, whatever, 6'1", 5'11" guys, and maybe kind of shifty and all that. Instead of that, maybe getting maybe a bruiser. But anyway, I think this season we're really set for running back. I'm not saying we have a top 5 running back group or not like that, but I mean with Singletary and these other guys, I think we'll be just fine. We'll be just fine. Now, also don't forget, okay, when you got your dog, okay, you got a Hyatt, right, with the rocket, right, and you got neighbors out there that's gonna open stuff up. Once it opens up back there, right, it's going to open up some other running game. Everybody's going to look better. Everybody's going to look better because of one guy. It's amazing how it works out, right? It's amazing how, like, when you got a Reggie White, right, on your defensive line, everybody else gets better. It's amazing when you have a Mean Joe Green as your defensive tackle. Amazing how everybody gets better. When you have that one guy that's super special, makes everybody, Aaron Donald makes everybody, because when you got 37 people trying to block Aaron Donald, it's amazing how everybody else gets a little bit better, right? So, but I mean, Malik Neighbors is gonna make that. I mean, it's almost like it's winter time, right? And it's supposed to be 65 or 70 out there for the first time in spring, and you're just opening up the windows, and it's kind of like, it's a breath of fresh air, right? You have somebody like him out running around, running routes. Man, it's going to be special. It's going to be great. Going to take you back to those OBJ days, right? But hopefully he's not as much of a nutcase as OBJ is. I'll take the athletic ability and the catching and all that and everything, but hopefully he's not much of a nutcase. But Shane and Dave will talk to him. They took him out on dinner, I think, a couple of times or something like that. They were talking, so they thought there was a problem. They probably would. I mean, I'll tell you, I was all for Dunzier. Guy seems like an absolute class act dude. But whatever. I don't know. Whatever. We didn't take him, so the Bears did. Gave Caleb Williams somebody to throw the ball to. The Bears did very well for themselves. But anyway, I'm very happy that we got Neighbors. Very, very happy. All right. So, like I said, with Tracy, there we go. 24, he'll be 25, but so we got some young, I mean, he's 25, but he's got a lot of tread left on him, right? So we got Eric Gray, right? We got Tracy, right? So hopefully we keep these guys moving forward, right? I said, worst comes to worst, maybe we can bring Singletary back next season as well. I'm fine with that. So the Giants are not doing too bad with the running back department. We're not doing too bad with the wide receivers. You'll notice, as the seasons go by, right, we're starting to check off more and more position groups, right? Wide receivers, we're good, right? Well, running backs, we're good, right? We don't know what we need with the offensive line, right? I said the tight ends, we're good, especially if Waller were to return. We do need a receiving tight end when Waller leaves. So, but anyway, and then good old Mauasau. I think it's Darius Muasau. Maybe it's Muasau. Tackling machine, right? And this is from Mean Gene Clemens, right? How Giants defense, Giants Darius Muasau fits into the Giants defense. Now, with Gene Clemens, I mean, the guy was at Hawaii, transferred to UCLA. Last 4 seasons, he led his teams in tackles. I mean, Shane was like over the moon with the guy, about the guy, right? Doesn't miss a game. Huge, right? Special teams. He'll be on special teams, okay? Leads, I think he said he had like 440 tackles in college. right? He's a tackling machine. But what Mean Gene here talks about in his one article is sometimes he has a hard time missing tackles. Okay. Now with PFF, what we got here? This past season, right? He missed 12 tackles, 14% missed tackle rate. So you'd like to get that down a little bit. Okay. Now, to be fair, it has come down. Okay. 2 seasons ago in Hawaii, he missed 25 tackles, 18.4%. 2 seasons ago, 2022, the first year he transferred to UCLA, he missed 21 tackles, 17.2%. This past season, he missed 12, 14.1. So 14.1 is still a little high. You like to get that under 10. But over the past few years, it went from 18.4 to 17.2 to 14.1. So, I mean, a lot of it, you can certainly work on. Now, what Gene Clemens was talking about with the, he might push for some playing time. I mean, in the middle there, we're not taking Bobby Carrick out of the field. I'm saying maybe push Micah McFadden maybe for some playing time. Don't forget about Darian Beavers. Now, once again, interior linebacker position. We're good. Oh, yeah. With Beavers, hopefully Beavers coming back. Hopefully he can stay healthy. I think the guy will start flying around the field a little bit better. He wasn't quite the same last season. Quite possibly why he didn't really make the field, get on the field at all. But I think with the draft pick here, McFadden, Okereke, and Beavers, and Carter Coughlin, on this depth chart here, they got Isaiah Simmons as an inside linebacker. Possibly. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. That's going to, where Shane Bowen has him at, right? But Isaiah Simmons, so I mean, we're good. Interior linebacker position, we're good, right? But what Gene Clemens was talking about in his one ad, is this Giants country? Let me see here. Gene Clemens, SI Giants country, yeah, Giants country, yeah. He was saying quite one of the reasons why Muasau was drafted in the 6th round and not maybe the 2nd round or something like that as his missed tackle. Sometimes he over pursues, right? He just over pursues and the person cuts back and he misses them. Sometimes he maybe gets his arms on him and doesn't bring the people down or whatever. Some of the stuff you can certainly work on and get that missed tackle rate down. But I mean, there's no denying. I mean, you're not leading the team in tackles 4 straight seasons unless you're around the ball. I mean, even with his missed tackles and all that, the guy's a tackling machine. I think Shane said 440 tackles. Let me see here. Does it show how many tackles he made? Oh, my goodness. Tackles, 440. 337. Maybe also with special teams, too. I don't know. I thought he said 400. I thought Shane said 440. Oh, you know what it was? No, wait. He said maybe it's 337 tackles and 101 assisted tackles. So 438 in 5 seasons. 438 in 5 seasons. I mean, that's a lot. And I said the past 4 seasons, he's led each team in tackles, 4 straight seasons. The guy is around the ball. I mean, so, whether he gets a lot of time with the starting defense or not, that remains to be seen, especially with the way McFadden, we got Isaiah Simmons in there, right? Bring back Isaiah Simmons if you don't plan on using him, right? But then you got a Carrick, but look for Muasau. I think that's how I'm bad with names. But if you don't get a lot of time on defense, special starting on defense or playing on a defense, special teams, I'm sure, as I said, they have visions of him playing special teams. So it's a very good pickup. But as I said, to me, just the 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, 5th round pick, it just was like all depth. Some decent quality depth. I said running back, right? Theo Johnson, right? Right? The cornerback, as I said, I would have liked to seen us getting a cornerback or somebody, but I said in the second round, we wound up getting the safety. So we filled a hole. We lost Xavier McKinney, probably could have used somebody, and we wound up getting the best safety in the draft. So I'm all fine for that. But but one thing, don't forget, Shane still has up his sleeves, has a couple moves he can do, right? Andrew Thomas's contract he can touch, right? Bobby Okereke's contract he can touch. He could touch Daniel Jones's, but I'm not sure if he's going to want to do that, especially if there's a chance we might want to let him go. But we'll have to wait and see. But there were a couple things he can do up his sleeve. Now, as far as I know, from as of right this second, Adoree Jackson is still a free agent. Now, I can't see anybody going to be shelling out $20 million a season for the guy. Can the Giants bring him back? Maybe give him $10 million a season? Who knows? But, right, if we got, we brought back Darnay Holmes, we got Flott, right? I said, if we bring Adoree Jackson back for maybe 1 year deal, right? For whatever, $10 million, $8 million guaranteed, but I don't know. But as I said, he's been here. Right, he's been with Shane and Dable. He's been in New York. He's been with the organization. Blah 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 blah. He doesn't. I can't say he knows Bowen's defense, although they were both in Tennessee, right? Because that's where Adoree came from. So they quite possibly they know they are familiar with one another, right? So let's not forget that because they both came from Tennessee. But as I said, as of right now, and so that just listen to the people talk. Stuff that I don't know, but there's a lot that goes on. I'm not telling Joe Shane, hey, Shane, Adoree Jackson about, he knows. I ain't telling him nothing, and from what I hear and all of that from these executives or whatever talking, on YouTube or with their videos and all, a lot of that goes on. Maybe they don't directly call Adoree, and maybe they have to talk to maybe the agent. But Shane or Brandon Brown or whatever picks the phone up and say, hey, after the draft, unless we take a cornerback in the first round or whatever, or something like that, if you're still looking for cornerbacks, hey, we might come calling for you. All right. They don't talk money or nothing like that, but, maybe they talk to his agent. Would he be interested in coming back if we need him? What? Okay, cool. All right. We're not talking numbers or whatever, but after the draft, we're going to pick the phone up, and if we still need a cornerback, hey, we'd love to have him back if we can work the numbers out, right? I'm sure that happens all the time. Obviously, Shane goes in, there's 842 trillion possibilities. If this happens, if that happens, if we draft a cornerback, we don't need that. If we do this, if we can't draft a good starting cornerback, this is our next option. And then, of course, then they have other options that we'll call Adoree. If Adoree doesn't work out, we got this guy. If that don't work out, we got this guy. If that don't work out, we'll see if Deion Sanders wants to unretire. You got to have, plan A, plan B, plan C, you got to have options. You just can't have one. You get screwed. So don't forget, Adoree Jackson's still out there. So I would certainly, I wouldn't, if we brought him back. Can't bring him back at $20 million a season or 15, 16, 17 or whatever. I don't know what he wants, But if we can bring him back for maybe 10 million or something like that, whatever. I'm just throwing numbers out there. 8 million guaranteed, 10 million. Maybe he'll come back. Who knows? So, but all in all, as I said, if you think that we also got Brian Burns in this draft too. And then if you sit back and think, it's like, well, a lot of people think we got the best wide receiver. I'll take Brian Burns over any one of those edge rushers because we know what Brian Burns can do. Okay, now he's being paid 30. Let's hope he's not one of those guys I got paid. I'm going to take time. It doesn't seem like that with him. So it seems like he might have a little chip on his shoulder, right? And he's going to be teamed up with the Kayvon. Okay, and we know what he was able to do on a crappy team. Now he's going to, not that the Giants are Super Bowl champions, but now he's got Sexy Dexy there. He's got Kayvon on the other side. Let's see what he can do. right? So I said, to me, Brian Burns is the best edge rusher in this class. Not bad. We possibly got the best, possibly, to who you talk to, might have got the best wide receiver in the class. I'll take that. And we got the best safety in this class. So, the last 4 picks, but I said, if you look at the first 3, the wide receiver, the edge, and safety, not too bad. I said, all in all, I said, especially if you throw Burns in there, I'm certainly not going to give it a C or nothing like that. Or I give it like a B plus, maybe somewhere around there. But we're certainly, what we are doing, what Shane's doing is he's starting to fill out the roster. Let's see next season, after free agency and after next year's draft, let's see what the team looks like. We should be. It ain't never going to be complete, never. But the holes that we still have on the roster, we should have a few more of them knocked out after next season. So, but all in all, not bad. So what we got coming up is the undrafted free agents, right? And then I said we might bring in if Shane decides to redo maybe Andrew Thomas's contract or Bobby Okereke's contract, maybe free up some extra money, maybe go out there, maybe make one little more splash in free agency, bring in somebody else. I'll have to wait and see. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 10 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.